think we should sit on the remote like that Tubi commercial. Change the channel.
I think we should play the Cataldi rant.
Thing?
That almost sent our party into a tailspin.
So I'm not the only one.
Yeah,
I thought I was sitting on the remote.
My boys were there, so my 8-year-old was there, and everybody was looking at him immediately. They're Junior, sit on the remote. Like everybody ran straight over to him. I'm like, he's like, what? I'm just, oh my gosh, that freaked everybody out. Sorry, Bonte. Go ahead.
No, one more time, Spinoni. One more troll.
How does that happen in the Super Bowl?
Red zone touch.
How does it happen in the Super Bowl? Where are they going? And the fact that they beat you twice on the same play run on both sides.
That was amazing.
That is a complete indictment of the coaching that they didn't fix the first miscommunication. Jonathan Gannon has been a weak spot on the team all year, and you just saw the end result.
Haven't they been great?
That's how it ends when you have a coach who is not coaching to the style of the talent he was given, who is still terrified of the big play, even though there's nobody on the other side of the ball who can make a big play.
Wow. Unbelievable.
It's the beauty of a city like Philadelphia.
Yeah.
You can have a season like that, and you're still tied with 11 seconds to go, and the next day, here comes Cataldi with, I've been telling you all year that this team stinks.
16-3.
I've been telling you all year that we got problems that we can't get over.
76.
It's hysterical,
trailed
man.
all postseason until the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl.
76.
That was the most incredible stat. I said to him, I'm like, okay, I knew they had a great year, but like, oh man, they didn't. The Niners weren't leading at any point. The Giants weren't leading at any point. Like, wow, I don't know. That blew me away.
Well, those columns when the Chiefs and Eagles they put that graphic up where they've scored the exact amount of points.
Crazy.
They got the exact same record.
Exactly.
They got the exact same number of all pros. And at the end of the game, you're like, it's 35-35.
Perfect.
I'm like, holy smokes.
Great game.
Yeah,
Great game. And Angelo misses out on the two biggest plays of the game, which were the Jalen Hurts fumble 6.
Thank you.
And the punt return for an almost touchdown.
Thank you.
You can talk about Andy Reid out-coaching Sirianni and the defense on those two plays. And yes, they did. They ran the same play twice.
Wide open. In the red zone.
Beyond wide open, but wide open. But to me, the game turned on those other two plays where that's where the game switched.
Before the fumble, that at 3rd and 1, they were set up in the rugby formation to get the quarterback sneak.
And the false start.
And it was a false start. Nobody remembers that. And then they push it back 5 yards, and then Jalen Hurts fumbles. They had an automatic first down, and then so you know, boom, boom, you get a penalty.
Right.
And then so you know, Kansas City's tying the football game up on the next play. That was huge.
And that rugby formation will go away.
Thank you.
And they're going to switch the roster thing to where they're going to bring back the emergency third, I believe.
So that guy doesn't count.
That.
He has to like it'll be like a exemption spot where he has to dress but doesn't go against
I think so.
I think you're right too.
So.
The rugby play thing. Okay, so I understand we got rid of the bush. Thank you. It's not in the spirit of football. We're going to fight for every blade of grass, but then let me allow a lineman or a running back to come flying in and blot a guy. We've got to also protect these defensive players. Was McDuffie, number 21, got blown up by Kelsey. And I'm like, dude, you're going to kill one of these DBs having one of these linemen coming in late. They've got to be protected as well. It's impossible to play defense.
And it's just a stupid play. I mean, honestly, like the optics of it, it's, okay, here's the QB. And if they're smart, they would put two bigger guys behind him, at least one bigger guy. You could put 5 guys behind him, and we're just going to push him and lift him.
Thank you.
And why don't we get to the point where we just actually physically pick him up and throw him? We just propel him, right?
Well, Chris Jones met him on one play.
Fun.
Exactly.
Chris Jones met him in the middle on one play.
He did.
And stopped him. And then, but because forward momentum and everything else, and they keep pushing him, I'm like, this is
and there's no leverage when Chris Jones is in the air.
Unbelievable.
He hit him, but it's like they got like 700 pounds pushing behind him.
All right, real quick, you are listening to 95.7 The Game. KGMZ-FM and AC1 San Francisco, always live on the free Odyssey app. One thing I want to know is with Watch Party Willard, who showed up to the watch party?
Well,
great question.
There's a couple things to mention here. First of all, Guru was a show. Guru was a show.
As in he showed up or he was on fire?
He was there early.
On time, except for the fact that he did go to the wrong house. And I do want everybody to take a moment.
I want
everyone to take a moment to picture a little old lady around the corner opening the door to find a 6'4" black man in a Micah Parsons jersey and a 12-pack of Modelo standing there looking at her, going, "Where's the refrigerator? Let's go, lady. It's party time." And the greatest thing is, she's like, "Oh, well, it's great that you're here. Like, I'll take the beer." Funniest story of the day. But anyway, Guru did end up finding his way to the correct house.
It was a MapQuest fail because he had the wrong address.
MapQuest? What year is this?
Thank you.
2002.
He put the wrong address in.
MapQuest.
Yeah, he put the wrong address in.
I could have gone, what's that, with the old guide that we all had?
Yes,
the Thomas guide. Thank you.
Thomas guide.
It was a Thomas guide failure.
Oh, my gosh.
My grandfather used to have it highlighted, all the different routes, and they'd be like pink for some, yellow for others, and we would go through, get me my map, and it would be in the front glove box.
Totally.
Oh, my God.
Remember, and with MapQuest, we used to have to go to MapQuest
and print it out.
Yes. Exactly. So,
and then it would print out all the ads at the bottom.
Oh my gosh!
Out of ink. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
So Guru was a show and a strong presence the entire time. E-Dog, Evan Giddings.
Oh, yeah.
Made a performance.
Nice.
Program director Matt Nahagian for the first half. I think he had some kid duties, some people to pick up for the second half. So he was there for half.
Did he wear a Philly jersey?
He did not. He was rooting very hard against the Eagles.
Oh, good.
So as was almost everybody in the room. But that brings me to the final 95-7, the game entrant into the party, and it was none other than Dan Dibley.
It's an upset.
Who made it to the party. However, it's also an upset that I've taken this long to throw you under the bus, because listening to the two of you all morning with your joy,
we're so happy.
Exuding this joy that the Bay Area is eating with a spoon like a bowl of cereal today.
Yes.
This man standing right here who is wearing a green jacket today.
It's coincidence.
This man was a hardcore Eagles presence in the room the entire day.
Did you bet on them?
An antagonization sensation to everybody else in the room constantly, either rooting for the Eagles or the refs after every play, all the way until the end when suddenly he didn't like the refs anymore.
Did you see the jersey exchange at the end of the game?
No.
It was the lead official with Patrick Mahomes. They exchanged jerseys.
Well, that's not bad. It's a solid 4. But in terms of the officials,
Dibs was there. What'd you have? 3 Trulies?
Yeah, we'll call it 3.
Okay,
we'll call it 3 plus another 7. In the pregame. But
he tore it all in there.
A couple of things to that. As far as antagonizing goes, you and the majority of your Chiefs fans, the amount of begging for every call, all I provided was an official's perspective. And by the way, I had every single call right. I thought the last penalty in real time, I thought it was ticky-tack. But upon further review,
he got him twice.
He got him.
Yeah, exactly.
He got him. He grabbed him.
Exactly.
It was a hold. It was a good call.
I agree.
So Philly fan, and I'm glad that Angelo Cataldi, I didn't hear the whole thing, but hopefully he's not, along with all the rest of the Eagles fans, saying, "Oh, you changed the game." It was a hold.
Oh, no, he's with them. He's saying that all morning long.
Of course he is.
And this is last week of radio.
I probably would be in the same boat if I was an Eagles fan.
It was not a bad call. Now, should it have been called in that moment? That's iffy. But in a game where they let a lot go.
Agreed.
I thought in the moment it wasn't callable, but when I've looked at it more and more and you hear the
Pereira
player
said it best. When you watch the whole play, if you're the official and you're watching it, the guy cuts to the inside, he hooks him, then grabs him the second time. To me, it's the totality of the whole thing, then you got to throw it.
And the official doesn't watch what happens after that.
Exactly.
His job is to watch the contact, and he throws it.
I thought I was really impressed. I know you guys played it too. I was very impressed by the way James Bradbury handled this in the locker room.
Like a pro.
Very, very cool.
Totally agree.
To just say, look, it was tight, and I was hopeful that they wouldn't call it, but they did, and they're not wrong for calling it.
A lot of class.
It's a hold, and when you've got an activated drunk fan base who I'm sure is going to roll right over that and not even hear it, that's good. That still is going to go a long way to tap down people's complaints to think that somehow Philly got jobbed. And so that's what I was saying all last night. Like, first of all, don't say that it was a bad call. And secondly, don't do the I also heard this, but it was uncatchable. That does not apply to holding.
Nope, does
that
not.
applies to pass interference only. So you got to take your officiating conversation out of the result of this game.
I want to ask Dibs, why were you rooting for the Eagles?
I just thought they would win, so I was rooting for my prediction.
Got it.
And And that's the way it goes when you're totally neutral. And I was not there getting thrown hot dogs upon me and beer and all the rest of it. And you guys did a great job this morning of Grudge Radio. Grudge Radio here on 95.7 The Game was never better. So when you're watching the game as a neutral, and I'm a neutral, and yes, I'm a Niner fan, but a lot of people talk about, do you want the team to beat you, to be the champs? That way you could say that you were second best and whatnot.
Well, both teams beat us.
I thought
like a drum.
I thought that Philadelphia was the better team, and you watch the first half and you say, "Oh my God, Philadelphia's the better team. This game's going to be somewhat of a blowout." And then you get to the second half, and the Chiefs march down and score. I'm glad that it was a good game.
I thought it was going to be a blowout. I thought the Eagles were going to blow them out. That was my prediction. I thought the defensive line would take over the football game. And when they were up 10 at the half, I said, boy, if Kansas City doesn't score coming out of half, this game is over.
Well, that's the big thing that shocked me is what you guys talked about is no sacks. And
no sacks.
They weren't even close.
And
but also the run game.
And I blame the D coordinator because they never changed it up. They never brought additional pressure.
Hassan Reddick was on the outside.
They never heated up Mahomes. No. They never brought 5 or 6.
There was a couple of really brilliant blitz calls on third down to send linebackers from different angles to just at least get Mahomes out of the pocket.
I did hear Jeff Schwartz, who's a great Bay Area sports fan, by the way, but a former offensive lineman. I heard him say this before the game. He did say, everybody's talking about the Eagles' defensive line, and there's no doubt the Eagles' defensive line, we know, right? They're very good. He goes, but people forget, the Chiefs have 2 All-Pros on their offensive line.
Right. Exactly.
Like, this is a big-on-big matchup, and the Chiefs, they won it going away. Their offensive line was fantastic in this football game.
And in the run game, they averaged 6.1 yards a carry. Now, obviously, it's a little inflated with the Mahomes scramble, but Pacheco ran hard.
But the Eagles' numbers are inflated because of Hurts. Their running backs did nothing.
I thought Gabe should have touched the ball more because he was a big X factor in the other game.
He only had 21 yards on 7 carries.
I know, but Sanders wasn't giving them no juice.
Miles Sanders had nothing.
Even with Jalen Hurts, and by the way, that's graphic that just showed up on SportsCenter, 80% of his passes completed from the pocket. So Robbie Gold should probably just be quiet about Jalen Hurts being a quarterback.
They all should be quiet.
That was
no doubt about it. But the Eagles only ran for 3.6 yards a carry.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be up around 5.5 yards.
And how many carries? I know you have the stats up there. Like 22?
Yeah, 20.
They abandoned the run way too early.
Totally agree.
They did.
So the Mahomes thing's interesting to me. We're celebrating LeBron James.
32
and like,
carries.
Once you saw LeBron, unless you're Skip Bayless, when you're doing a shtick, like, we all realize, wow, I'm watching somebody who's pretty freaking unique.
Right.
I know, like, Brady's got a more comprehensive resume. I know that Joe Montana does as well, and I'm not saying that his resume is there yet, but I feel like I'm watching the best, most talented quarterback I've ever seen in my life in real time. And I thought it was Elway. What's Mahomes' weaknesses? What's his weakness?
He's 27.
Yeah.
What's his weakness, Dibs?
The number one thing that popped to mind, because I'm with you, Joe. Like, even though there was
incredible,
there were, and the Chiefs you don't get the dynasty label yet, but they're on the doorstep now. And so look at Montana and look at Brady, and this does feel different. It feels more NBA-ish. It feels individual.
Like he's in control.
It feels like it does in the NBA.
Yeah.
Like if you have Jordan, you're going to be there in the end. If you got LeBron, you're going to be there in the end. You may not win it every year, and it feels that way about Mahomes. Like, go back to the beginning of the year. Oh, they lost Tyreek Hill. The offense is going to be different. And actually,
they're better.
No receiver stood up.
No.
None of them. Kelsey, but no wide receiver.
Kelsey's so sick.
No wide receiver ever.
He's got Valdez-Scantling as a number 2.
And by the way, I think
Kadarius
Toney, I think he's going to be that guy next year.
Yeah, he's nice.
You know,
but he didn't do a lot in the pass game.
He was targeted one time, and he scored a touchdown. But and he had the punt return. But my point is that Patrick Mahomes feels like Jordan, like Tiger, like LeBron.
It feels like LeBron to me because LeBron won with Wade and Bosch, and then Mahomes won with, like you said, Tyreek Hill and the team that they had. Yeah. And now you got Travis Kelce, but now you've got Kadarius Toney, who's J.R. Smith, and you've got
Pacheco's a 7th rounder.
Dude, I mean,
he's got incredible.
He's got next to nothing. And by the way,
Sky Moore,
Andy Reid, I don't know if there's a bouquet big enough to give him the flowers that he deserves.
So
that second half turned because Andy Reid went in the lab. He wasn't watching
the first drive.
in the second trimester.
The first drive was clinical. 3 minutes,
the whole thing.
Down. They went right down. They scored right away, and everyone said the same thing. Uh-oh. Like, if you're an Eagle fan, you had to say, uh-oh, because they scored immediately.
Well, no, but you know what? Philly got the ball back and went on a 7-minute and change drive,
and got
they
what?
held them to 3.
That was the
biggest thing. They held them to 3 after all that clock. I was like, wow, there's only going to be one possession for each team in this quarter. This is advantage Philly if they score 6. They didn't score the 6. They got the 3.
They got the 3.
Boom.
So E-Dog and I were the only, and I'm not going to say I'm a Philly fan, but he and I were the only ones in the room who wanted Philly to win. So every time Philly had the ball,
was rubbing off on E, huh?
Every time Philly had the ball and they get to a third down, E would put up the 4.
Oh,
he's 4 down territory, and he's right. Yeah. It was 4 down territory until you got into that second half. And then Sirianni got a little year to the turtle. Wow. He turtled up a little bit.
He did.
He's so arrogant. It's not good that you're sick of him already because he's only been here for 5 minutes.
No, but he's screaming and yelling at the sidelines.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Crying in the anthem.
You're not even the play caller. You lost play calling duties, and then everyone feels he's recreating offensive football. He's the next Bill Walsh. And I'm like, timeout. You couldn't even get a play in on time. You've won at now 2 playoff games. I'm not saying you're not good. Can you win one Super Bowl before we say you're the next Bill Walsh?
This is what ticked me off with him. This is what ticked me off with him.
Back to Grudge Radio. I love it.
He did the same thing Sean McVay did. They were up 38-7 against the New York Giants. They're up 31-7.
Chest bumping.
Gainwell goes to scores. They go up 38-7. Could have been Boston Scott, whoever it was. He runs into the end zone. It's 38-7 in the playoff game. You don't think Brian Daboll from the Giants is going to remember that, saying, "Oh, that's what you're doing up 38-7 in a playoff game? You're running into the end zone to celebrate with your teammate, with your players? Okay, let me bookmark that.
Totally
I'll remember
agree.
that for next season."
And you talk about windows and windows closing. So Jalen Hurts is going to get paid. He's going to get paid $30-35 million a year.
He was incredible.
They have all these free agents.
24.
Yeah. So what's Philly going to be next year? I mean,
they've got a couple
it's a total rebuild.
What's Kansas City going to be? They have 11 picks and a slew of cash, baby. Pocket full of money.
Kansas City's set up.
They're set up
this
to
was
dominate.
the year. If you were just taking a step back, you're like, this is their most vulnerable, and yet they still reel out a championship.
So as this got thrown at me last night, though, here's where the 49ers play into this. And this is why things are so urgent to me. And this is why 9 days from now is freaking nerve-wracking, because I'm going to go in there on that elbow and find out if it is exactly, as okay as they think it is, and is he going to be ready in August, and whatever happens at the 49er quarterback position. Because buddy of mine goes, Patrick Mahomes is now, all right, we're going to call him Michael Jordan. He goes, but Jalen Hurts actually has an easier road to get back to a Super Bowl sooner than Mahomes.
Because of the NFC.
Well, just think about it. Let's say Aaron Rodgers leaves the conference, and I don't even care if he doesn't. How hard is it just right now? Okay, there's Jalen Hurts. Who's the second best quarterback in the conference?
Brock Purdy.
Okay. The names that you can, he's laughing.
I don't know if
he's laughing, but here's the thing.
I'd say Stafford.
Your options.
I know, but
he might be done.
He's the most accomplished, though. I'm just saying, I'm trying to give him his respect.
Listen to how quickly we get to these names.
Is a lot better.
Right? Like Dak, Kirk Cousins, Goff, Stafford. If Brock Purdy's a real thing.
Who knows?
Look how quickly you get to
Danny Dimes.
I know.
So in other words, the NFC is never, ever going to be this available.
Yeah.
There's only like 2 or 3 even viable teams right now. The 49ers have got to get this done soon, because it's not going to stay like this. Teams are going to go get quarterbacks. They're going to draft quarterbacks.
Well, we'll see what happens with Lamar. He might jump conferences.
I doubt it. Baltimore's going to get that figured out. They don't have a choice.
They're $100 million off. I don't know. There's something's weird there.
They'll get it figured out.
Or I think he ends up in Miami. I think he could be really Tyreek.
But it is a good point, and I agree with you. The Brock, and this is the other part on the Brock, because I thought you were going more money-wise. When I look at what Kansas City, Mahomes is so good, it doesn't even matter. Like, we all whatever they're paying him, it's still value at the position.
Yeah.
Whereas whenever you pay these other guys like Dak, it's not value at the position. It actually is hampering your opportunities to win because he's making all the money and you have to make tough decisions elsewhere.
But put Mahomes aside and like Josh Allen and Burrow, they're elite.
Yeah, they're very unique.
If you can have a rookie on a rookie deal, Jalen Hurts, you can build around him and you can do that. So that's what Mark's point, I think, is really appropriate in terms of Brock Purdy. What's Brock Purdy going to be in August? Is it going to be no Brock this year?
August
is Brock
aggressive.
Back?
Well, August is
I don't even if it's the most simple procedure, to me, get it right, because the last thing they need is a young guy getting hurt.
I don't think it does feel aggressive, though.
But no, one thing Trey Lance, you better get him up to speed.
Exactly.
Trey Lance has another opportunity
on a rookie deal.
On a rookie deal, and can Trey Lance replicate what Jalen Hurts did this season? Can he?
I don't know. That feels very far-fetched right now.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I don't know. It's a lot to ask.
I mean, Jalen had a monster season. And they're very different players. Jalen's played a lot of football.
Yes.
Trey has not. They have elite weapons that really complement his skill set. Jalen, because we always do this. Oh, Josh Allen improved year to year. Jalen Hurts improved year over year. A lot of guys don't. You know what I mean? Like I'm just saying.
There's also
Trey hasn't played.
Right. There's also but there's also organizational structure. Like,
exactly.
And I know you guys know this. Like, we all talk to people. The 49ers think Brock is their guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they're at.
And that could be a mistake.
So whether or not it's a mistake, obviously time will tell. Health for both of them, but that's what the 49ers think right now.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Did Brock hit his ceiling this season? And if he didn't, where can he go? Where can he go? Because what I watched last night, I don't know if Brock Purdy can touch that.
I don't know how we could say someone hit their ceiling 8 games in. You got to get better.
He did hit his ceiling.
You got to get better.
Jimmy did.
If he did hit his ceiling, I think it is good enough.
He never
based
lost.
on what Shanahan does
It's good
with
enough to
his
get past that
offense.
Chiefs team.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, we're different.
Absolutely.
They're structured different than other teams.
Exactly.
They don't need their guy carrying them that way.
So here's a good question. Kyle brought this up yesterday based on 73 points. I think second highest scoring Super Bowl of all time, by the way. If Jet McKinnon goes in, that becomes the highest scoring Super Bowl ever. Previous one was when Steve Young beat the Chargers, by the way. But anyway.
What was that? 49-26?
49-26.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 26.
So
Stan Humphries, Natron Means.
So he
Rodney
asked,
Harrison, Junior Seau.
Chill.
Come on.
Old phrase, is it still true?
Sean Jefferson.
Defense wins championships. And so if it's not true anymore, are the 49ers structured accurately in that they're like, if the 49ers had been in this game against the Chiefs, if they had been in this game against the Chiefs, what would it have looked like? You're not going to probably outscore them 41-38. You're going to try to beat the Chiefs.
I think our secondary is better than the Chiefs' secondary.
I do too, but we tried that 3 years ago and the dam broke in the fourth quarter.
Tried it 10 weeks ago.
And they dropped 44 on it. Number one defense in the league.
So and I, you
got to keep up with them.
And it felt like a track meet at the end. They could have scored 50 in that
game.
Remember,
they tried to.
Tampa Bay beat them, giving up 9 points just a few years ago.
But both of their tackles literally were out.
Their offensive line was in shambles.
They lost.
We broke that game down. It was like, dude,
that's why the Chiefs, they're like, look, we don't need Tyreek Hill. We need offensive linemen.
Exactly.
And look what happened.
And they're smart with that.
All right, what else you guys got coming up today?
I don't know what's
going on.
First
of all,
Myers is speaking at 11 o'clock.
And we'll carry it live.
Bob Myers live on 95.7 the game, 11 o'clock.
Bob Myers at 11 o'clock. We'll carry that whole thing. I don't know what you got. I mean, definitely, it's going to be almost all Super Bowl.
Can I be honest?
The GP2 thing plays today. Like, I think people have questions. There's frustrations. This whole thing got so weird.
I'm red flagged it
so fast.
Do I think they're a better team today, moving off of Wiseman? Absolutely. Long term, I think this is a bad move for them. I'm ready to say that right now. There's just bad vibes with this whole thing. It doesn't sit well with me. Gary, the Portland, and the Warriors. The whole thing's I got bad juju with this one. I don't know. I can't even put my finger on exactly what it is.
I think I could help you with it.
What's that?
There's an aspect of why they still went through with the deal, which is just about money.
No, I don't know about just money. No. I also think you can't.
There's an aspect. I
agree with that.
There's an aspect, right?
Yeah,
like they saved a bunch of money,
right,
by getting rid of James Wiseman. They saved a bunch of money, and
but the whole notion of they got better today with the trade. They actually didn't get better.
If he
with the
plays,
trade.
they did.
You got rid of a guy, and you got a guy who's not going to play
for quite some time.
Well, so you traded
at least 6 weeks.
A DNP for a guy who is can't play a DNP.
Okay, but couldn't I argue, and I think the Warriors would, and I know no fan wants to hear this.
Bob Myers at 11.
You saved a bunch of money.
Sure.
Plus, GP2's on a 3-year deal. So you now have him going forward also.
Have we seen the best of GP2?
Maybe.
Probably.
I mean, we definitely have. But
5 or 6 surgeries.
Probably.
Can he replicate it?
And when I'm looking at the Western Conference, is GP2 making a difference against Kevin Durant in Phoenix? Is he making a difference against Kyrie Irving in Dallas?
But if he was able to play like right now, starting here, let's go GP2.
I like GP2.
At least you feel like you have another piece of the rotation, but you did not get another piece of the rotation.
And
you got damaged goods,
and
Portland clowned you by sending you damaged goods.
Not only that, I don't even know where to go with this one.
There's so much more to this story.
There's so much more. Wiseman, I don't think he's going to be a bad player in the future. I think they gave up on Wiseman a little too early.
I'm with B on that.
I think Steve Kerr mismanaged the youngsters early in the season. He should have been playing them,
playing
them.
That's a take for a year from now.
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
I'm on the other side of the fence than you are in terms of Wiseman.
Right.
I think Wiseman's closer to Anthony Randolph than he is to Chris Bosh or
He's
Jermaine
already
O'Neal.
shown more than Anthony Randolph, but I see the comparison.
But I'm saying that he's going to be. I think he's closer to 2 years, and he's out of the league.
The question is simply going to be: do we get to a point someday where the Warriors regret letting him go? And I will bet no. I will bet that this does not turn into anything that the Warriors someday regret.
And if I think if they would have regretted it, they would have rescinded this trade. If they got damaged goods, and if they really felt like, man, maybe we shouldn't have got rid of James, they would have reversed this deal.
I think it was the lesser of the evils dealing with, because you have real people involved here. Walking James back into this locker after Steph Curry.
Come on back, James.
After Steph Curry puts out like a slide montage on Instagram welcoming Gary Payton back.
Right.
I just don't think you could do that.
Remember the Lamar Odom deal with Dallas and the Lakers? And it had to get undone, and Lamar, he couldn't do it.
Exactly.
He couldn't, it really ended up, my gosh, his
D'Lo
life.
trying to walk back into that Laker
out of control.
Laker locker room after he did what he did with Nick.
Nick Young.
Yeah, Nick Young. I was trying to think of his
By the way, GP2 out tonight with right adductor soreness.
It's
going to be out for quite some time.
At least they have Iguodala, right? Coming back from the
Iguodala.
But I love all the reports.
I can't help it.
I think there were some reporters in the market who really embarrassed themselves with some of the tweets and some of the reports over the weekend. If the Warriors,
call them out.
They told you. No, I'm not going to do that.
It's radio bot
No,
day.
I'm not going to do that. No, I'm going to be cool here. I'm going to be cool.
So you want to go to war?
No, I don't want to go to war right now. Not right now. Vacation's coming up soon. Listen. The GP2 stuff, if the Warriors wanted to rescind it, they would have done it right away.
Friday.
When they felt
exactly.
Well,
that to me was like,
that tells me all you need to know about how they feel about Wiseman.
Exactly.
As soon as you saw GP in the stands, I'm like, oh, well, he's not.
Sitting next to
Mike
Dunleavy.
Of course he's staying.
Of
course he's staying. So, no, I want to know. You don't have to name anybody, but what was
people
embarrassing?
were like, what's going to happen? Oh, my gosh, the Warriors. I just saw a lot of just. I don't even want to get into it.
I
will say this. I
don't want to get into it.
I'm tat on your way out of town.
I am officially triggered by the phrase pending physical.
Oh, my God, I'm with you.
I'm
never taking it for granted
good
again.
Lord.
For the rest
have
of my
you ever
life,
thought of this, a 1-2 punch within
totally.
6 weeks of each other?
Totally.
To have the Correa and GP2 thing happen to the same market, pending physical. God.
Speaking of which,
Portland, Phil.
Did you see what today is?
Their credibility got
totally
questioned.
Totally.
Portland,
pitchers and catchers.
Not just credibility, like the way. I mean, this was not fair to GP2. The way that the way they're handling him and his body. But what were you going to say?
No,
he was saying pitchers and catchers, and he got a Heisman from me.
Nobody gives it down.
Come on.
Until April 29th.
Yes, people
or March 29th.
But people do care.
Speaking of which,
garlic fries and broken guys.
Do you care about pitchers and catchers?
I could give a rat
I care about baseball.
It's February 13th. I care about baseball too.
I love baseball.
I love baseball. I don't love Giants baseball.
I'm more concerned with my Valentine's plans.
I watch all the teams. When you guys are I told them about the Atlanta Braves 2 years ago. Trey Turner.
I got that MLB league pass.
You know what? Lubman met somebody. Lubman met somebody over the weekend. Producer Lubman, and they said, why does Bonte hate baseball? Why does he hate the Giants? Damn it, I love baseball. That's one of the big
dude.
Come on, man. I don't stick with the Giants.
One at a time.
The Giants stink. The Giants are boring.
Let him finish.
So what did I do? MLB League Pass.
I can't let him finish. It's at the buzzer. I heard you earlier say, might have been Friday, I don't even want to take my vacation. I'm so in on blah, blah, blah. If you want to rescind your vacation, I'll take it for you.
You can take it at the same time. We don't work on the safe show.
That's a good point. I
got
stretch 4 coming.
I got asked to work an extra hour on President's Day, and I'm looking around. And I asked him, so how many people were out? Oh, nobody. I'm like, well, I'll find out on next Monday who's out. I'm looking around this room. It got real quiet.
I'm here.
You're with me?
Am I?
Thanks, Jerry.
Nobody has said anything to me about anything.
You're not taking no days off?
No, why? I mean, I just had a cabin.
When is President's Day? Is that next Monday?
When we celebrate Willard Fillmore, I don't work. Okay? I'm out.
Gotcha.
Willard Fillmore. Oh, Millard Fillmore. Sorry.
You're going to get yours coming up.
Let's get up out of here, man. The Warriors Community Foundation is excited to announce the February auction presented by Cash Creek Casino Resort. It's live now through Sunday, February 19th. They have a wide variety of items up for the auction, including signed jerseys, tickets for games, and even a chance to meet some of your favorite athletes in person. Don't miss out on this exciting opportunity to give back and score some amazing sports memorabilia at the same time. Visit Warriors.com/auctions.